Welcome and hello, this is Theresa, and today I am going to do my Crafting Around the House mini-series on instant coffee. But before we do that, I was in April's live chat last night. She does one every night for the 100-Day Project, and her channel is... That's the problem when you learn people's real names. If it doesn't match their channel name, then I can forget the channel name. So it's Craftin' Around the Back 40. Yeah. April. Okay, so anyways, I was talking about the haul that I just got from Italy, and she said, "Oh, did you do a haul video?" And I said, "No, I didn't." So she said, "You should do a haul video," so I'm gonna do that real quick. It'll be a very quick one. First of all, I did get some, it's called a 25-piece fun mixed Italian envelope in Italian postal pack that came wrapped in this lovely twine. And so some of these envelopes are really thin, and of course everything's written in Italian, and you've got different colors, different textures, different feel of the paper, different stamps, different writing, typing, postmarks. This one is nice and thick. That's cool. I've got a stamp. I've got a Stampin' Up! Stamp like that, and I think I might have a Tim Holtz stamp like that. That little square label and on the bottom with the R. Signora. This one was a bonus. It had a letter in it. Look at that beautiful orange paper. And I have 2 of those. Looks like something's in there. Ooh. Second bonus. This one was kind of cool. Don't know what that is all about. These are like registered letter receipts, I guess. That's what they remind me of. That feels thick too. I'm going to look in that. And then a nice big one. Oh, I know why this feels thick. It's because this is a huge envelope. Look at that. Have you ever seen such a thing? Gotta be careful because this paper is super thin. Oh, this is like onion paper, but I don't know. Look at the size of that letter. Looks like it's a request for documents on probably official parchment paper. I'll bet that's vintage parchment paper from 1967, it looks like. So it's not quite as old as I am, but very close. 1967, 1967. And then this one is a big letter. Hi, Tony. I started to say Happy Mother's Day, but I almost felt like you said that you didn't have children. But Happy Mother's Day anyways, because it's Mother's Day, so Happy Mother's Day. This one is handwritten. We're going to Idaho Pizza in Napa tonight. Have pizza with some kids. And so these pages seem big to me. And interesting. This is very cool. Oh, you do have a daughter. Yay. Are you going to see her today? Okay, so that was the envelope pack. Oh dear. This is my package of multicolor straw paper. And there are 60 pieces in here, and they are 35 by 50 centimeters. So it includes, let me see if I can get the list of colors for this. It includes, could have sworn it says, what the colors are. Well, I guess I'm not going to see. Well, it's a blue, and it's another blue, and it's a green, and it's a red. I'm not going to take these out because they're very difficult to handle. But there's a lot of paper there, and there's much more than I will be able to use. So I'm going to cut those to 8.5 by 11 sheets, and I'm going to put some pieces in my paper packs that I have for sale in my Ko-fi shop. Well, let me get this little booklet here to behave, and then I'll show it to you. Okay. Of course, I cannot read the name, of course. And this is, what is this? Antique Italian, Vintage Italian Ricordo de Bologna, early 1900s. So this is a very interesting little booklet. It's in good shape. But look at it. It's like accordion. It's all folded into here. And this is a full picture, but when you go to the back, which the inside cover has a map of the area, but when you go to the back, let's see. So this would be the first page. And you can tear these off. So I've already torn one off and put it in a journal. But how cool is that? They tear very easily. And then when they're all torn off and used, and of course I would put this in a pocket or something like that, so that if someone could read Italian, they would be able to read the back of this. So for what I did in my newest journal that I'm working on, which is this grungy vintage journal, which is an accordion style journal, and it's very loose journal because I hinged full pages together with fabrics. So it's very flippy floppy loose. So we just have pages with lace on them. So I took each 8.5 by 11 size page and I hinged them together with fabric, and then I folded them in half. So let's go find that piece that I was talking. Oh, and then I sewed 2 signatures in of 3 pages. And so I took this piece and I scored it here at the top so I'd have a nice neat fold. And so if a person could read Italian, then they could just flip that up and turn it around and be able to read that. Not really worried about making it real easy to read. You know, they'd have to turn this around to read it, because I doubt anybody would get this journal that would be able to read that. So, of course, no one buys my journals anyways, but I've got a plan for that. I'm going to do a bargain basement sale on my journals, something to that effect, something catchy to that effect, and offer them for a dirt cheap price plus shipping and handling, actual shipping and handling. So I'm still working on this. I'm going to be making some flowers, some what I call them, some quirky flowers, and I'm gonna glue those there. So that's the last page. So then you go this way, and I made this closure so that it's very easy to manipulate. And I just have some notes there of what I want to do yet to this journal. So this is kind of the back page, but I decided I wanted to glue this on here and make that a tuck and just have a very light, easy tag to go there. I was so mad at myself. This is a tab. I was supposed to glue it out further so that it would act like a tab, and I glued it flush. Oh, I was so mad at myself. This is some Italian rag paper from an Italian vintage book, because I buy lots of stuff from Roxy's Creations. I like her stuff a lot. I haven't decided how I'm going to close this. I think I'm going to put 2 little tiny paper clips so that it would act like a tuck spot, but if plans changed and wanted that to flip out, it would flip out. So yeah, that's that. This is my grungy Italian journal, which is part of the Junk Journal Madness collaboration for May. I was going to do this one. I think technically I am doing two. That one is accordion style, and this one is envelope style, made with some old envelopes and some new envelopes, a variety of envelopes. These are my signatures. Yep. Haven't sewed those in yet. That's a work in progress. It's kind of weird because I made the cover a lot longer than the pages, and actually the front cover is longer than the back cover. So I will probably thinking about trimming that off because it kind of bugs me. Or maybe I was thinking about extending this, but that would bug me because it's so far out than the pages. Hi Gypsies, Craft Nook, welcome. Okay, so, oh, one more thing to show. And then this is a book I got, an antique Italian book. It's called, I already start tearing out pages. I do that immediately. Le Opera de Agnolo. Oh, Lord have mercy. Don't even try, Theresa. But it's 1848. It's in really good shape. The paper is sturdy. That's one of the reasons why I take it apart right away. It's because I want to take a page to play with, to fold, see what happens when I fold it, to pull on it, and then to tear. And I tore a page and I turned it into a little pocket, and it performed very well. So the pages are sturdy. It's got good patina to it. And I love this kind of stuff. So if I ever turn this book into a junk journal, I will keep that. It had two little surprises in it. This little piece of paper here, which I have no idea if it's from a magazine or what, but I still love those little bits. And then this little piece here, which is more cardstocky. And it reminds me of a library card, but I don't know what it is. Made in Italy. I don't know what it is. So I'm just leaving it tucked in here. I think these are verses, maybe. These appear to be verses. How cool is that? Yeah, I will have fun just cutting out this piece and gluing it on. I don't care that I can't read it. I still think it's fun. Okay, so that's, and look how beautiful and such a fun size that this book is going to be for a journal once I finish taking it all apart. And then Rachel includes a nice little card. So the background is from papers that she's done. She has some wonderful digital papers. And then just some examples of some of her stitching that she does. She puts out a ton of content, that's for sure. All right, so on my desk, I have a little bowl of coffee, and I have a sprayer bottle of coffee, and I have some coffee, and I have some rock salt. Let's see. and I have some cut up pieces of paper. Yesterday, I was playing with a different technique that Louisa Heinzel was doing on one of her videos about 3 days ago, maybe. And I showed this in my video yesterday, but I used coffee for this project, as did she on hers. So what's nice about this is that it leaks through. So if you were to fold this page for a journal page, it would look good on either side. I'd still have to get rid of some of that white because that's my preference. Now, I did read somewhere that there's the possibility of the acidity in coffee that'll break your paper down over time. I don't know. I'm not necessarily going to worry about that. So something that might help is to layer gesso on your paper before you use coffee to seal the paper. I'm not going to do that today. I did that. That's how I did these. But I didn't layer. I mean, I just, sorry, I have a dry throat. I just scraped some gesso on here. And then on one of the pages I scraped, on top of the gesso, I scraped some texture paste. And then I used a stencil to put some modeling paste down. But that takes too long to dry, so I'm not going to do that. So let's just start with something really fast. We'll take the spray bottle. And sometimes when I'm in a hurry for it to dry, I'll just take a paper towel and dab over it. And right now I am going to dry this piece a bit real quick. Okay, I'm gonna lay it over to the side to finish drying a bit, and I'm gonna do something more with that. Now another thing you can do, hello Monica, welcome, is spray water and pour the dry coffee on it. Now I'm experimenting, so I didn't try to like really saturate the paper with the water. So that's the fun thing about all of this, is experimenting. And one of the things that I love about using coffee is that when instant coffee, when the grounds start to dissolve, to liquefy, they get to a point where they look shiny, and it almost looks like it's little puddles of wet coffee, and it's not, it's dry. Now, right now it's wet. Let's see. And that was fun, how that swirled down like that. I think I want to dab this a little bit. around everywhere. Ooh, I like the texture. But you know, you can buy little jars of instant coffee from, you know, the dollar store and stuff, and just have a good time playing with it. So I don't have a big area, so I usually do not use a bath of coffee like this. But some people do like to do it this way. So you can just put your paper in there, and then you'll get more even distribution. Now I won't leave that in there because I don't want the paper to tear. You need a paper towel. These are trailer friendly storage containers, which means they collapse so that they don't use up as much space. So I have to be careful when I'm putting the lid on, because if you don't know how to do it, it'll collapse while it's got water or liquidy stuff in it. So what happens when I dab this? Okay, and we'll move this over carefully to dry. And then it's fun to take stencils. And spray through the stencil. Okay, that didn't work, but I've seen it work. I just want you to know I've seen it work. I'm using Hammer Mill 32-pound paper. Oh, that sounds like an awesome idea, Gypsy. Wow, I like that idea. So let's see. I wonder if it depends on the weight of the paper, because I don't usually do this. I mean, it worked to a degree. Maybe I just used too much paper. This is why I'm not a dog fan. These folks moved in next door in the park, and they're, seems like they're right on top of us. And I mean, that's the way these two spots are designed. The spot on the other side, that person is really far away from us, but they put up like one of those mobile fences for their dogs. There's 2 dogs in a trailer park. Oh my gosh. And you can hear how deep their bark is. And they're Labradors, I think. And the little kids go by and they menacingly, is that a word? They menacingly bark at the children. So hopefully they're temporary and they'll be leaving soon, but as much stuff as they put out, I'm very unoptimistic about that. And then there's nothing more fun than to be sitting down at your table outside at the picnic table and eating dinner, and to have a person bring their dog out in front of you to relieve themselves. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things in the world. I love the smell of coffee too. I love to smell it when it brews, but we've chosen to just get a one of those hot water pots and just used instant coffee. I'm not a big coffee drinker. I just drink 1 cup in the morning. Oh my gosh, I love lawn mowing, and I love the smell. Okay, that's starting to get dry. The reason why I'm trying to get this dry is, oh, let's see, because I wanted to, and if I would have thought this through, I would have had an example ready. Let's see if we can get this dried. That is so funny, Monica, that you say you're allergic to grass. Because my husband's allergic to grass too. So when they mow, he's not very happy, and I feel so guilty because I'm sitting here going, "Oh, good, they're mowing," and I'm enjoying the heck out of the smell of the freshly mowed grass, and I feel guilty because I know it's making my husband miserable. Yep, it's getting there. It's a little wet still, but you're starting to see how it gets shiny in areas, and I just love that look. And then on the back side, it kind of looks almost like it's burnt, which I love that look. I thought I had a wet cloth here. I guess I don't. So any paper that has coffee dye on it looks great. There was a digital print on the other side of this, so it'll look interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it looks after it's dry. Okay, I think this one is almost dry enough to spray it with more coffee. So we'll just do some light spray like that, kind of like you spritz with Tim Holtz sprays, and then we'll let that dry and see if we can see the spritzing after it dries. Ow, that was a bad move. That was really stupid. I put my hand underneath the dryer when I was drying. Yep, that should show. Okay, so then I'm wondering, see if we can get this to dry a bit. Ooh, what happens? Okay, no, let's wet this again, and let's put some salt on it. I can't dry that because it'll blow the salt off. Let that dry. Then we have some book page. Yeah, we need this real life crafting so that we can show people what not to do. Like, don't put your hand underneath the blow dryer or the heat gun when you're drying something. So that is just a light spray, and that looks good. Looks great on an old vintage page. My granddaughter was looking at the pages in this book, and she was like, "What are all those numbers?" And I was like, "How do I explain that to a 5-year-old?" I don't think I came up with this solution. I think I probably said something like, "Oh, it's just numbers." I don't know. You want me to tell you that it's the perfect percent, let's see, the percent casting votes for percent keep wanting to say precinct, of voting age, population, casting votes, states 1960 to 1974. Now, exactly what will that say to a 5-year-old? I don't know. She's a smart 5-year-old, but I don't know that she would be very interested in that. So let's see if we can get some more definition to this one. I'm seriously considering getting a hair straightener for my craft room so that I can dry papers with that, or straighten papers with that. I have a little tiny traveling iron, but I don't know. Maybe it would be just as easy to take that traveling iron out. I was watching this to see how much definition showed up. I thought more was going to show up as this dried, but probably not. So then I decided, well, how fun would it be to take that same stencil and put it back down, and then take some ground espresso, and do this. That's cool. Then if you're, I'm thinking that if I would have put gesso on this, or maybe used cardstock, that I would have seen more definition from spraying through the stencil with the coffee. But this is a nice way to rescue that. So it's not just a blob. Okay, so I wanted to talk about the salt. I'm not going to be able to share the salt, I don't think. Let's see what it's doing. You can see some of what it's doing. Let me zoom in on that. There, I think that shows a little better. So that probably will look really cool once it's dry. Feeling really impatient. I'm gonna hit it with the heat gun. Maybe slow. I like it. I mean, after all the years of seeing videos that show this kind of thing, this is the first time I've ever done it. Okay. And I love it. I'm going to have to incorporate this into my vintage grunge journal. Now, to me, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, kicking myself right now that I've never done that before. I have done this before, so I do like this a lot. And that's not totally dry yet. That is, and it's just glossy feeling. So that's going to be it for today. You can use a bath of coffee. You can use a spray bottle of coffee. You can spray water down and drop coffee on it. I even like to take dry coffee and dump it into the bath and then put the paper in. Just don't let the first batch of coffee dissolve in the water and then have floating semi-dry pieces and then dip it, and that's fun because this can be a little bit too much. I'm sure I could spray more water on that and dilute it, but it's lovely that you get the different hues of coffee on this. So we've got that. We've got the salt. We've got the stencil try. Then we've got a first and second generation of it, so to speak. And an example of it on vintage paper. We're not all on screen. Let's see, take a little bit of that off screen, a little bit of that off, put that there and that there. It's getting better. And actually, I want that right there to show. And then we have these two examples on 32-pound hammer mill paper. One, let's see if I can tell which is which. One of these starts with gesso scraped on. The other starts with, well, first gesso scraped on, coffee, texture paste scraped on, coffee, and then modeling clay stenciled on, and then coffee again. Yep, lots of coffee. Thanks, Monica, and thanks, Gypsy and Tony and anybody who's here. I appreciate you visiting, and I hope that I inspired you to at least go have a cup of coffee. Take care. Goodbye.